Hi everyone, and welcome back to Wonderful World. I thought today I'd do another update on my boa constrictor, Ray. I've had Ray now for about 4 months, and today is Ray's birthday. He is turning 1 year old today. If you saw my first update on Ray, then you saw that he had a little bit of a rough time acclimating to his new life with me. He had regurgitated his food a couple times, and he didn't really know what to think about his new enclosure. And it makes sense to me now that I think about it. Ray spent the first 9 months of his life with a breeder, living in a typical tub setup that breeders use, and then went from that to a 4 foot by 4 foot bioactive enclosure with plants and limbs and lots of hiding places and stuff to explore. It took Ray a while to get used to such a change, and in the last couple of weeks he's decided finally that it's safe to go down to the ground. Boa constrictors are semi-arboreal, meaning they spend some of their time on the ground and some of their time climbing in trees and branches. As babies, they'll spend more time climbing up, and the more they grow and the larger they get, the more they'll stay on the ground. So it doesn't surprise me when Ray prefers to be on the limbs and in the higher parts of this enclosure. For the entire first 3 months of me having Ray, he stayed almost entirely on the branches and ledges and in the highest parts of his enclosure. If he was coming down to the ground at all, it was only at night when I was asleep because I didn't see it. I wanted to make sure that Ray had access to water, so I added a shallow water dish up on this mossy ledge in the corner. And he does like using that. I've seen him drink from there on several occasions. During this first 3 months, Ray would move from the hot side of his enclosure to the cool side to thermoregulate, but still only staying up high in the enclosure. But then one day I noticed him resting on a branch about halfway down. He started doing this more often, and then I finally noticed him venture down to the ground. The first time he did this, it was obvious he was being very cautious. But once he became convinced that the ground was safe, everything changed. Now he's spending time moving all over the enclosure. I didn't get it on video, but I came into the reptile room in the middle of the night and he was soaking in his big water bowl on the ground. And it's amazing how he can climb straight up and down the bark and sides of the enclosure using nothing but the bark to hold on to. Boa constrictors are known to be nocturnal animals, meaning they sleep during the day and are more active at night. But so far, Ray's behavior has been more cathemeral. Cathemeral animals are active during spurts of time in the day and night. Their activity is sporadic and occurs at irregular intervals. Cathemeral animals are usually active during parts of both the daytime and nighttime. I'm so used to snakes sleeping in their hides during the daytime that it seems almost strange to me that Ray doesn't use any hides and feels more secure out in the open as long as he's perched somewhere up high. But I guess that's just his arboreal nature. Ray has his favorite places to curl up and sleep, mostly on this mossy ledge. This was originally a planter where I'd put a large philodendron plant, but Ray trampled that plant to death and turned this spot into a soft bed. And now, when Ray's not sleeping, I see him roaming all over the enclosure. There are a number of hides in the bottom, including some turtle shells, a fake rock hide over a heat mat, and a couple of large pieces of hollow wood. But since Ray doesn't seem to care about hiding, he just sits on top of those things. It did take Ray longer to acclimate to his new enclosure than any of the other snakes I've ever had. But that's one thing I'm learning about boa constrictors. They do everything slowly. It does make me feel good to see Ray getting comfortable and using all of the space in his enclosure. I think it confirms to me that it's a good environment for him and that he's growing happy and healthy in there. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, until the next video, I look forward to seeing you again soon.